Pope, responding to some of his critics who called him a Marxist, and maybe not some, but one, Rush Limbaugh, let's use the name, for speaking out against what he called the tyranny of capitalism. Now, in the interview with an Italian newspaper, the Pope said this: Marxist ideology is wrong, but I have met many Marxists in my life who are good people, so I don't feel offended. I want you to respond to, one, the claim that the Pope is a Marxist, and then the Pope's response.
Well, I think what the Pope is saying really is maybe some of the tenets of Marxism, kind of built on a socialist ideology, where you share goods, and when someone doesn't have, you make up for what they don't have. Perhaps in an ideal world, there's some value to that political entity. However, it has been corrupted by political regimes, as we know. So he's saying, I don't want to be associated with Marxism because of how it's come to be in history, but perhaps I know good Marxists who do good things and good work, so maybe it's not so bad if you associate me with them because maybe the end goal is an okay one.
All right, Joey, I want to go to you now.
Yes.
It's interesting here. The Pope hasn't necessarily changed the doctrine. He's just sort of changed the conversation, changed the perception of the church. Tell us, how has he been able to do this?
Well, for one, I'm Jewish, and I'm following him on Twitter. So that talks to his massive appeal. And it's really not just the message, it's that media. I mean, he is, this Pope is a pop star. He has brought heaven down to earth. He's speaking to the masses about compassion and about his own passion. And any great brand has three elements. They're passionate, they create a dialogue with their customers, and there's this sense of constancy. You're constantly in touch with them. I'm following him every day, and I'm sure everyone else is, and that's what he needs, followers.
Now, Father Beck, needing followers, there's this Pew Research Foundation poll that found that there's really not been a change in the number of Americans who are now going to church since Pope Francis was elected. You see the number here from 2009 to 41%, sliding down to 39% in 2013. I mean, is this just a very charismatic man, or is this in some way going to translate into numbers?
Well, Victor, first of all, I have seen a change in local parishes where I help. There is an increase, and some people come up to me and they say, we're here because we have faith in this church again. I want to add one quality to branding that Joey perhaps left out, and that would be authenticity. People have to believe the brand is authentic, and I think what we're seeing with Pope Francis is this authenticity. We're seeing the same man that we saw when he was Cardinal Archbishop in Argentina, who eschewed the palace there and did the same thing in Rome, who lived among the people. He's taken really the papacy from the palace to the streets. So yeah, I think there is a branding. You know what it's called? Baptism. It's the same branding as all Christians. It's to walk in the path of Jesus, and he's trying to do it authentically, and I think that's why it's resonating with people.
You have to wonder, I mean, you think that probably played a large role in why he was chosen in the first place?
Yeah, absolutely. Like any great brand, he's gone back to the ethos of the church. Though he's done something incredible, he's represented religion and the church and Jesus in a more modern, truer version of itself.
But really quickly, he's also pushed back against, focusing on, Catholic bans on abortion, gay marriage. Does he risk alienating his base, the people who actually attend the Mass, instead of just, tweeting about him?
Well, actually, I think he's very focused on uniting humanity and really not dividing it. So I think there's going to be more appeal than ever.
How does this trickle down, Father Beck, beyond, well, I don't want to say trickle down. Let's change that. We've talked about the Pope. We've talked about the parishioners. But the leadership of individual churches, between the Pope and the people, how does that affect the leaders in communities in the church?
Well, I think we have to now take our lead from our leader. So it's very interesting to me. Remember last Holy Thursday when Pope Francis went to wash the feet of those juvenile prisoners, and he washed the feet of a woman, and a Muslim woman at that. Well, there are some dioceses in the United States that say you can't wash the feet of women on Holy Thursday. It has to be just men because the disciples were all men. But I think pastors this year would be very hard-pressed to exclude women from the washing of the feet. You have the Pope, the head of the so-called corporation, doing it, then everybody can do it. So you think we're taking our lead now from someone who is saying this is the mission of the church. Get with the sheep, smell like the sheep, Put yourself there. You're not above. You're meant to serve. That's the real brand. Serving like Jesus served. Who did he serve? The outcast, the leper. So when he puts his face, this Pope, against that man with all of those boils on his face, how much more Christ-like can it be than Jesus who touched the leper? It's exactly the same thing.